Hi, everybody. I'm Scott.
And I'm Luke.
And I am Jonathan.
And this is the No Way to Hollywood podcast, just like it always is.
I mean, yeah, because you click play, so here you are. You're watching it. Hey, thanks. Really like that.
Scott, you forgot about that one time when it wasn't the No Way to Hollywood podcast.
What were we doing?
We were talking with that cameras on.
Oh, that's right. We did that once.
It was lunch group, is what it was.
Oh, right. Yeah, for those of you who don't know the history of this podcast, we spent quite a lot of time at work, because we all work together, talking about movies and not actually working.
No, this was during lunch. This was during lunch.
Most of the time,
Most
or
of the
during
time.
breaks. Or during breaks. We take breaks.
Okay. Yeah. We took breaks.
We
Bail.
basically said, "Hey,
Bail.
we need to like actually record our thoughts because it's interesting and people would watch it." And what happened, guys?
That was not true at all, except for the three of you who watch. So thank you to you who find this interesting, or maybe not interesting, at least entertaining. So that's cool. We appreciate you.
Let's be honest. Episode 66 had 13 views, Luke.
That's 10 more than usual.
No promises on how many finished.
We don't have stats on that, nor do we want the stats on that.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate that.
We do, and thanks for being a part of this family, whatever that kind of looks like. We're glad you're here.
We're a family. We're a family
No Way
here.
to Hollywood podcast. We're not like patrons. You're family. Yeah, great. Olive Garden.
You know what family does?
We are
Family
the
smashes that like button.
We are the Olive Garden of podcasts, minus the amount of people who show up at Olive Garden.
Oh boy, we've lost it.
We're not even
I wish I
5
had a cool little like sound effect right now because it's time for Jonathan with the news.
Dun dun dun. Hi, I'm Jonathan Grace, and today in news, we found out some things that are, well, it's the news. So, first thing is, and really the only thing I want to talk about today, is that some movies got pushed back. Okay, there have been some delays. Specifically, Paramount Studios. Paramount has said they are pushing back 3 of their major films. First one is Top Gun Maverick is being delayed. So, I know. Talk to me, Goose. What happened to this? Why are we delaying? Originally, this movie was supposed to come out in July of 2019. Then it was going to come out in June of 2020. Then July of 2021. And then we were looking forward to it coming out this November 2021. But now Paramount has bumped it to May 27th, 2022.
Okay,
so, Top Gun Maverick.
The first delay then in that sequence would have been pre-pandemic, though, right?
That is correct. Or yeah, they didn't realize that the world was going to shut down. Like most of us didn't realize that.
No. But they delayed it because of other stuff going on with the making of it, is the initial point.
I don't remember. July 2019 and before is so long ago. It was the before times, and I don't know what even was happening. I don't even remember my life before that. I've been 30
before COVID era.
Yeah,
yes,
before COVID.
Well, BCE,
so that's Top Gun Maverick. We have to wait even longer, guys. Presumably that movie's been done for like years now. So we're just waiting to hopefully enjoy that in the theater at some point. But Paramount has said no to that. Paramount has also moved Mission Impossible 7. It was going to come out May of 2022. Now they're moving it to September of 2022. I'm sorry.
This is clearly the let's not double up on Tom Cruise, right?
That is correct. So it was already going to come out in 2022, so we're not necessarily losing another year on this. But yeah, they're like, our only good movies apparently are Tom Cruise movies. So we need to like make sure we spread them out a little bit for a little cash flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they want that.
So there you go. So we're getting that in September. So literally a year from now is when we might have a chance to see Mission Impossible 7. Now, the third movie, I said these are all big movies, and I think Paramount might think these are all big movies. I don't know if I care too much for this last one, but Jackass Forever.
Which I
The stunt-heavy sequel was set to open in October 2021, next month, and now it'll be in February 4th, 2022. I got all my information from slashfilm.com. They're my source. And it's, who knows what could change next. But another interesting data point, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is not Paramount. This is Sony. Sony Studios doing this. Sony has delayed it, but they delayed it by like a week. They delayed it to November 19th when it was originally going to come out November 11th. And I have no idea why they're going to do that. Yeah. It could be a myriad of reasons. It could be like, we have our algorithm, and the algorithm gods say that we must release a week from then for the max amount of money. It could be that they were like, looking at the time schedule, the visual effects guys are pretty much swamped, and so we need to make sure they have another week to get things done. Who knows what they're deciding? And they're like, Paramount just did this whole Top Gun Maverick thing. I think we can get away with a week right now. So let's just go ahead and announce it right now. I don't know why they did that, but I do find it interesting because right now, at least, and this could change very quickly, as we've seen before, but Paramount has essentially said, we don't believe the movies are back.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they just said.
Yeah.
And Sony, so far, has not said that. And I only bring them up because they've recently announced this, but it's very small delay, which stands in contrast to Paramount's large delay. Warner Brothers has done nothing, and it's entirely likely that even if theaters shut down, they'd be like, well, guess what? We have HBO Max. We're okay. Just I will feel sad about Dune having to be viewed on a TV rather than a theater. But for HBO, or for Warner Brothers, really, they're like, yeah, we'll go ahead and just keep moving forward with our plan. Sony seems to be, right now at least, has not done any major movements. There are, Universal, everybody I know is not necessarily doing this yet, but Paramount's made a pretty big shift, and that could mean that there
more is coming.
Yeah, that there might be something coming down the pipe. Who knows?
Okay. Well, I have two thoughts. now. The first thought is how much of this, like, hey, Delta variant is what's causing it, versus, hey, you released it on streaming at the same time that you released it in the theaters, guys. Like those are the two major theories right now as to what's causing it. And it's interesting that Paramount is saying it's the Delta variant that's causing these numbers to these film numbers to flop, instead of siding with kind of the other side, which is saying, no, it's because you're releasing it at the same time. And by the way, maybe these films just don't have much, staying power or interest to people as much as you would like. Like, say, a G.I. Joe movie that just came out recently, where they're just like, nobody wants to watch it, maybe. Maybe that's the case. You're just not releasing good enough films for it. And then a second thought, and this is more just like, maybe I'm just hopeful or something, because I think that'd be funny. Like, what if the films got leaked? It's been 3 years, right? And this movie's like sitting in a vault somewhere, and somebody's like, you know what? The people must know. And like they push the button or something, and it goes out. That would be, that'd be amazing. I'm so interested in seeing that happen.
Yes, Luke, we all understand that you don't expect to get to the theater, and you really just want to have a free version available to you right now to watch all of these. I get that.
Okay, that you're not wrong. But my point is more that what's interesting about this, crazy conspiracy theory idea, or like alternate reality idea, is that in attempting to save their box office numbers, they end up undermining themselves, because people are like, hey, it's been 3 years. Okay, I don't know. Those are just two thoughts that came into my head as you were talking about that.
Well, or just a interesting thought about like people waiting for movies. It's, to me, all of these movies, at least from Paramount, are actually all safe as far as delays. And the reason I would say that is because we've already been waiting like 25 years for Top Gun Maverick. Why not wait a few more?
Right.
We've been waiting. Someone has been waiting years for a Jackass sequel, and they will get it now. And they can probably wait a little bit longer.
Well, I don't know. That audience might be dead or grown up by the time that it comes around.
they might actually just do their own jackass thing just to make sure they can get through this time of being bored.
There we go.
And Mission
there's
Impossible.
also a thing called YouTube guys. I'm pretty sure that's just as good.
YouTube guys? Who are the YouTube guys?
We're the YouTube. No, we're not. Wait, hang on.
We're No Way to Hollywood. Never ever have we not been No Way to. Okay, so Mission Impossible 7 though.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 7 is wide and large, generally well wanted.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see this movie.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that any of those are in danger. Unlike, say, Black Widow, which did fine in the box office, but there is a certain question of how long, like how big can the Marvel, when is Marvel going to go the way of the Western is a question out there for some of us who are trying to be reasonable, where everyone else is just in a fever pitch still for Marvel. And it may never go, quote unquote, away. Comic book movies may be a mainstay, just like comics are a mainstay. But I don't know that Black Widow had the right timing, and that was always a weird movie to begin with. So some movies, I think, have a harder sense of, okay, maybe our time is leaving us of when we can actually hit the, strike when the iron's hot. But I don't think these movies are going to have that problem.
That is totally fair. Yeah.
But yeah, it would be kind of funny if that happened. And yes, the idea of the debate, Luke, of, well, it's the Delta variant, clearly, or hey, it's the streaming service. And I'm still waiting for these movies just actually suck, guys.
Yeah,
like some of these movies are just bad, and nobody's ready to go through anything extra, including just spending money to go to a theater to watch movies that they think aren't going to be that great.
Right.
So is Top Gun Maverick going to be the next of a bunch of failures? I don't know, but you've got an audience of guys who are older who are like, I liked Top Gun. I want to see Top Gun Maverick. It'd be cool. A bunch of dads want to go see Top Gun Maverick. And why not? Now, is that why they're saying that they need to wait till a later date? Because I think the dads will also be cautious or something and not want to go when there's the Delta variant. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I think they're hoping it to be like the father-son kind of stuff going on, like, hey, dad's going to go see this movie, but he's not going with his buddies. He's now taking his kids to watch it because that's cool, eh?
I mean, I should probably take my old man to see it. I probably should. He introduced me to Top Gun. I should introduce him to Top Gun Maverick.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that's the news tonight with Jonathan Grease, Luke Holtzman, and Scott Leader.
And now on to our main topic for the night. Gentlemen,
okay.
We've actually all seen a movie somewhat recently.
Yes.
The same movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we haven't talked about it yet. And I know we're a few weeks late because it came out a little while ago, and you probably can't find it in the theater anymore. But Luke didn't find it in the theater anyways, so.
Luke never finds it in the theater anymore. Hopefully we can get Luke to find Dune in the theater.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I feel like we've already talked about this. Anyway, what is it, Scott?
We are going to talk about Snake Eyes.
Whoa.
The casino movie.
Well, kind of. Until you find out that the dice are loaded and it's always Snake Eyes.
I mean, that's how the house wins.
For the G.I. Joe movie that literally no one went to see except for us three. And my nephew. My nephew went and saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can give you his general opinion very quickly. He did not like.
There were a few people in the theater with me.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Who else was there? Random people?
Yes, there were some randos.
Like 5 of them?
Okay, Filmento also saw the movie, and he thought that aside from, being kind of like, woo, cool, flashy, really stupid overall. Link below. Okay, yeah.
All right. Now, out of sheer curiosity, I just want to know what Luke thought, because I haven't heard this yet. Luke, what were your general feelings on Snake Eyes? Or sorry, G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes.
Okay, general impressions.
General.
I was like, I don't feel a lot of G.I. Joe-ness going on right now. Kind of confused by that. It kind of felt weird because it wasn't G.I. Joe stuff. It had been so long since I had seen, Rise of Cobra, and while I owned some G.I. Joes, I never watched television as a child, hence being a film major. And so I knew nothing. I knew nothing at all. In fact, when people are like, "Oh, it's actually what Storm Shadow, Storm, Storm Cloud, Storm."
I never played with GI Joes.
Yeah,
Nor watched
I was like, I don't know who you are, so like this isn't like a big reveal or anything.
Storm Shadow.
Oh, okay,
Storm Shadow.
Okay, there it is, in all white.
Storms leave shadows. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So like a lot of stuff. I was just like I know that you're tying into something here, but it means nothing to me as an audience member. The action was fine. You know, it was kind of stylish and flashy, and that was kind of fun. The camera motion actually. The camera motion was pretty great. Like they were constantly doing some fun camera like whoosh 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 stuff. I was like, for being a movie that just sit back and have a good time, like you're having a good time with this, and that's kind of fun. There's always a power level issue with these kinds of movies where it's like, here are two people who inexplicably are like infinitely better than everyone else in the world. So go with it. And so that was something, where it's like, we will take on 40,000 people and we will beat them all with our fists.
They're main characters. That's
which is
parallel.
dumb. But yeah, okay. I mean, it's fine. So yeah, it was fine. It was fine. But after watching the movie, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to go back and rewatch Rise of Cobra. That's what I want to do. And so
I really hope that right there you're going to say, I really want to go be a ninja. That's all I wanted to hear from you. That's the one thing.
I mean, I want to go be a ninja.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that.
Okay, but dear viewers, just so you know, between putting the kids down to bed and recording this, I was able to burn my way through Rise of Cobra at 2x. And guess what, guys? It's pretty great. I mean, it's cheeseball and whatever, but it's pretty great. And honestly, in my opinion, it's significantly better than Snake Eyes. So there you go. That's my take.
Interesting.
To start with.
Okay. So I came into this movie quite literally with the lowest expectations possible, and literally just wanting to see some good action. I don't think that I've ever watched the other G.I. Joe movies, even though I grew up playing with G.I. Joe as a kid like Luke. And ultimately, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Like, it was just, like, enjoyable. And I'm not going to say it's a great movie, and there are certainly issues with things, and there are characters that I'm sure if I were more involved in the universe, I would like more and appreciate and understand and know. But, there's just certain characters in there that I'm like, okay, you're a character. You have a name. Apparently you're important, and there's not much arc to you at all. So that's like my biggest complaint about the movie. But other than that, it was a really enjoyable movie. It's another one of those movies that I look at and I go, if you weren't part of the universe that you were, maybe this movie would have been even a little bit better. Like, would I have loved to have seen a movie about this guy that ends up training to be a ninja and needs to, save the world, basically? Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But it was a G.I. Joe movie. And so we had to do G.I. Joe things, even though it didn't matter to the story.
Okay.
Jonathan, you gonna disagree with me?
No. It's been a long time since I've seen the old G.I. Joe movies, the other two movies, and one of them, I don't know. They weren't good. I don't like them very much. I don't find them terribly arresting. They have some fun things here and there, but I think the last time, it might be the second or third time I've seen this movie, this G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, and this was some time ago that I saw at least bits of it. I don't even know if I watched the whole thing, and I watched it and I was like, wow, this is not working for me very well. But the Snake Eyes movie, this was one of the first movies I saw coming back to the theater. I just seen Black Widow before it. And I had gotten to a place where I said, I got A-list, I'm just going to go see it. And I just hope it's kind of fun. If it can just do martial arts, ninja stuff, and I don't care about G.I. Joe anything. If it can just do some martial arts, ninja stuff, that's kind of fun, I'll be happy. And I will say that to me, the camera work in the theater was very awful for a lot of the action sequences. It felt like reductionist. Like it felt like Taken 2, shaky cam, heavy edited stuff was a lot of what I felt. Now, I don't know if it's really the worst thing in the world. It was, it was okay-ish. There's times where I could see what was happening, so that was nice. But
okay, yes, it's not Old Boy. Okay, it is definitely not Old Boy, but like, and when I'm talking about camera motion, I'm talking about like they were constantly like doing like these crazy like follow moves with the camera, and they were like zipping around people and like constantly moving, and I was like, that's kind of fun. Like the energy's high. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one. Okay, sorry. Since we're talking about camera work, there was about one shot that actually stood out to me in the entire film, and the only reason it stood out to me was because it was this like dolly jib arm up to reveal a character coming out of a car, and the car drives up. Classic. Like car drives up, camera's coming towards it, goes over the hood, voila! Someone steps up, is like, "Yo, I'm an important character." And I don't remember the character. I don't even remember who came out of the car, because all I remember was that they went right over the logo slowly of the car. They were like Hyundai, and I was like, "Oh no, don't just." They've done it so many times before. I never thought about it, but somehow you found a way to make me think about the placement. Stop this.
I did not think about the placement at all when that happened.
Wow, this movie is really important. You can tell we're talking about product placement. So this movie, I tend to agree with you, Scott, that I don't need it to be G.I. Joe. I think I would have had more fun if it was just allowed to be bonkers and be its own ninja movie.
Yes. I think it would have been better. Yes, I agree.
Which is interesting that, yeah, the first two movies I saw, Black Widow and this, both feel like, hey, just don't be part of your universe. Just go do your own thing and it would be better. I am a sucker for classic stories. Like, I just am. So you can just, as long as you make a story that's kind of interesting, even if it's an old school one, I tend to like it when good is good and evil's evil and, like, brothers in arms, but you betrayed me. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need your edgy nonsense crap. I don't need your art house bull crap. I don't need you to be like, everything's been subverted. What do you think now? I'm like, I think you messed up a good story, and I'm upset now because I wanted a good story. And this movie, at the very least, was like, it was very classic. Guys who help each other in a bad situation, life, death things, but one's betraying the other, but they're brothers and they really care about each other, but now they gotta fight each other because they betrayed each other and there's all these problems. And I was like, I'm in. I don't want you to betray him, but you're going to, and I know where this is going, but I care enough. I like the idea of it enough. And there are giant snakes in this movie. There's a crystal that makes people get blown up into fire, and buildings just blow up with this crystal. And I've heard and I understand that people might be very, I was fine with you, and then you started like having crystals that blow things up. And I personally was like, I barely missed a beat. I was like, what's this pit that's going to be just determining whether your heart is okay? No one wants to go in there unless it's a bad thing. And he got down there, it was giant snakes. I was like, well, I would not want to go in there if there was giant snakes, and I don't know how they're going to determine what his heart is, but apparently they're magic snakes, and I'm just going to go with it because they keep talking about this crystal, and if this crystal thing's going to be that important, it's going to have to be supernatural because that's crystal otherwise. So I enjoyed it. That's the thing. I like Scott. I just had fun with it. I did not come in with good expectations. I thought G.I. Joe movies have mostly failed me in the past. I am not here for G.I. Joe. I'm just hopeful for some ninja action. And even the ninja action kind of failed me, and yet I still had fun. And even some of the G.I. Joe stuff, like the Baroness and the Scarlet chick, and they're all talking to each other. All the girls get together, and they just like there's all the goons around them and keeping them under hostage, and they've all been turned on. And so the bad guy and the good guy are like, you want to just like join up and win everything right now? And she's like, yeah, I guess we should probably do that. I enjoyed that kind of thing. That thing was fun to me. So I don't know. I found it fun. It wasn't great. It's not a great movie. It is nowhere in. It's not even. I'm gonna say. Let me get a pause. Period. New sentence. Mad Max Fury Road's a great movie. Now a new sentence. Snake Eyes is not deserving to be in the same sentence as that last movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't exist. It shouldn't be in the same movie. Like, shouldn't be in the same sentence. But it was fun. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I agree that there were some fun elements of it, and like having having a character who is like, I am this whole time, and then spoilers at the end being like, you know what, you screwed me, so guess what? Now I'm against you. You know, like there is some, you know, that's some good like. Now I'm turning dark, and you're like, oh no, you know.
Is it weird? Am I just insane that I felt like his turn to evil made a lot more sense than, say, Darth Vader in the entire prequel trilogy?
Yeah.
Like his one movie arc and like where he was coming from and why he ended up doing the things he did made a ton of sense to me suddenly. I was like, I get where he's coming from. And then he gets on the wrong side of his house and he can't handle the rejection, so there's shame. And so then he's like, no, I'm, you know, fine, I'm going to go do my own thing. Like joining up with the evil Cobra guy, like whatever. But, you know, him going through this arc of I am supposed to be the leader of this clan and honor matters and I have this duty and all this other stuff. And then push comes to shove and he breaks like the one rule because he's too impassioned, right? Like, I don't know. I got it. I felt for him. I saw that coming. It seemed right for the character. It seemed like a decent change up, right? So even there, I was like, you know, it's better character arc than 3 other whole movies. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not a great movie, but it's still better than other things in various ways.
Well, and I think that's one of the things I enjoyed character-wise. I mean, obviously you talk about his arc. His arc is highly intriguing, but there's the arc of, you know, our main character, our Snake Eyes character as well, which is fascinating, and seeing his history and how he became who he was. And I mean, he's the guy that, you know, you can see he's doing something, you're like, ooh, you might actually be bad. You might be bad. You're probably actually bad. Oh, wait, no, you're good. And then you have the other guy that you know is good. He's definitely good. And in the end, he turns out bad too.
Quick pitch for a rewrite of this movie. Easy to say when you've seen a movie it's already been made. Way hard to do when you're actually making a movie. But quick rewrite of this movie. You make Storm Shadow White Ninja guy. You make him the main character. Because he has every trapping of being the hero's journey main character. He is the son of the Lord who must do the thing, and he's got all the, you know, and he's taking in this guy and trying to help him, right? And it's all about like, will that guy be a good guy and honorable, or is he actually betraying them? It's all about that. And at the end of the story, suddenly your main character is now the bad guy, and the guy that he brought in received grace and is now the good guy. And you've had to switch the protagonist view to now join with that guy. You didn't just know all the time that, of course, this guy's going to be the good guy because he's the main character. Instead, you say, that guy should have been the good guy. So you're there with every other character who's in, like, his mom and his teachers, everybody else who's like, you were supposed to be the good guy, and you failed, but you couldn't even handle your failure. And so now you've just gone off the path. And this other guy, well, he didn't have the same responsibilities as you, but he's actually better off now than you are. Like, it's kind of it's a tragedy. And there could have been not G.I. Joe movie, make it a ninja movie, make that guy the main character, put him through the same arc. Could have been interesting. Could have been a better movie.
I agree. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me, because, yeah, following Snake Eyes and kind of going his journey, you know, it felt like a cheap, like, online video game like storyline, right? Where like, yeah. You know, like it just had this like not a great feeling, not a lot of depth, not a lot of whatever. It's more just like, I'm doing this because I'm like, did you not consider any other options? Like, maybe this family that's insanely wealthy and runs the world might be able to help you do the exact same thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like they might be able to do something. You know, like there were a lot of pieces where I was like, I understand that you're telling me that this is how he is feeling, but I don't understand why he's really feeling that and why he's making the choices that he is, because it doesn't really make sense to me. So
I agree. I think potentially the weakest part of the movie is the motivation for the main character for a lot of the film, which is his dad gets murdered by the guy who rolls dice, and he always has it loaded for Snake Eyes, so that it's like trying to do a Two-Face thing. I'm sure it's from some character in the cartoon toy line, whatever the crap. I don't care because it doesn't matter. It's not compellingly used in the story. And so his rage against this guy from when he was young is not only very generic, it's also just I don't feel it at
Right.
all. So when
Yes.
he is making decisions that are about I just can't overcome my rage to want to kill this guy and get vengeance, it's really hard to
Well,
go with him there.
I feel like they set it up in such a way that I knew from the beginning he wasn't going to kill the guy, right? And that's kind of the big reveal most of the way through the movie of, oh my gosh, he doesn't actually kill this guy. Okay.
Well, see again, more thoughts are that you know, if you take this character and you make him in a sense more honorable, like the honor among thieves mentality. So if you take the two characters and you say, okay, this guy's got all the good guy stuff, right? He's got all the good guys on his side. He's in the royal house. He should be the right guy. And he does care about honor and he knows the right things to say and he believes those things and he's trying to do it. But when push comes to shove, he has a tendency to let his passions get the better of him and maybe not be honorable or maybe not follow the rules all the way.
Right, and that's where you'd have to you would have to set that up better too within the story. Like in our magic rewrite here, that is set up significantly better than it is in the film. Yeah. Okay.
And the bad guy, or sorry, the main character, Snake Eyes, what you need to do is really set up that he's actually been taken in by the bad guys, like not the Cobra people, but this other faction, this other brother or whatever who left, right?
Yeah.
But he's learned honor among thieves. And honor among thieves is like the ultimate rule, right? Like either you're going to be that guy who's going to try to betray everyone in the gang and become the leader, which is going to end poorly eventually for you. Or it's like the whole thing works because we're the mafia. We actually have very serious rules, which are you don't do this, you don't do this, and you don't do this. And you have honor for your elders in the group and you move on. You don't ever screw with that guy. You don't ever, honor among thieves. You don't ever break this rule. And it's serious because we'll kill you. Right. And so one character coming from a bad line of all these like thieves and evil people might have a better sense of, in a sense, following the rules or honor, or like, I don't break my decisions. So when you put him in the situation of, I would rather be on the good guy side here, but it's not even necessarily about my vengeance issue. It's actually about honor. And so then everything comes thematically back to honor so that when the big thing happens at the end for the white ninja guy, and he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, it's really getting back to you're not honorable like this other guy is honorable. And that's the problem. Even though he's on the wrong side of the equation, he's as honorable as you were supposed to be.
Right.
But now everything is shifted and that's the issue. So that's magic rewrite. It'll be fun to have more about that. And again, I think it's fun that we can even talk about this for this particular movie. I think it's fun that these ideas were even anywhere near this movie. I really thought I was walking into a movie that was going to be either complete nonsense, like truly complete and utter foolishness and nonsense, and the occasional set piece, like every 5 minutes, not occasional, probably every 5 minutes, throw something at the wall and hope it sticks. And what we got was a very generic movie, a poorly shot at times movie. It has the universe problems, but still, there's enough there. There's enough fun and interesting stuff there. There's enough, I think, appetite, at least to me, for a fun ninja movie that it was fun. I still, even if it's generic and not great, it was still better than a lot of films. So
okay, and just another thing that just came to my mind, right? Like something I really liked it, and I liked that they paid it off twice, although it didn't make any sense the second time. But whatever. Like when he's like he's gonna spar with the girl for the first time, right? And she's like, "Hit me," and he just smacks her. And she's like, with the weapon, and you're like, I genuinely was like, that's hilarious. That is like talk about subversion of expectations. That's fantastic. And like the fact that like it's just like, yeah, okay. And then later on it didn't make as much sense when he uses it to like incapacitate her for long enough to move a long distance before she like stood up slowly and was like, okay, I guess I'll let you go. Like none of that made any sense, but like that moment was great.
Is it bad if I don't even really remember that second moment?
Yeah, that is bad, and that's indicative of what this movie is. And that's the thing is, I remember that first moment because that first moment you talked about was funny and was good. And that's the kind of thing is there's these little gems in this movie. There's these little fun things, and again, overall, even though it's kind of generic, it's fun to go through a story that's like that. And that's what blows my mind about this. And people are welcome to disagree on many different levels, but for me, even a pretty poor movie that's got like at least a fun and decent storyline, even if it's old or you can see it coming miles away, I have way more fun with that than I do with The Shape of Water, or name your Oscar bait movie, or
I never
I just
watched Sex with Fish, so I'm not sure. I don't know
you
anything about
haven't.
it. No, I haven't.
It won Oscars, dude.
I know it did. Yeah. Yeah, but okay.
That's the bad taste in my mouth coming out for that movie.
I
I mean,
think
it was a little fishy.
I think there's something interesting just thinking about story, like the experience of stories. There's actually something very fun about realizing what's coming around the corner with a story. And as long as your story is set up to be that, like there's great joy to be had in being like, oh, here it comes. In fact, like we want that when it's like, oh, here's the comeuppance, right? This bad guy, here it comes, here it is, right? And that's
Right.
great. And you know, and for all the J.R.R. Martins in the world, where it's like, and out of nowhere this crazy thing happened, but like typically that's with the good guys, where something just terrible happens out of nowhere, and you're like, oh no, because that's the gut punch that direction. But it's enjoyable when you're seeing it, the pieces start to fall on the other side.
Quick philosophical idea.
Okay,
The
I like
reason
this.
the reason that stuff like George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones and things like that have become more and more popular, and I think there's lots of reasons. I'm not trying to boil it down to just one, but this whole like good guys get killed stuff, right? And the surprise, or even in a much broader sense, even The Last Jedi and subversion of expectations. I really do think that there is a lot of weight being placed on surprise now, surprise and subversion. And I think that honestly, that comes from the ultimate issue of nihilism, which comes from a place of basically, since I know how things are going to go, and I don't actually believe in like a hero's journey, so to speak, I actually kind of believe that there's so much crazy out there that's not realistic to me unless things are chaotic, unless things are sort of insane. And so when you have your main hero get beheaded at a time when you wouldn't expect it, it's now suddenly realistic because life is actually chaotic and meaningless. And so when you do things like that, it feels more true to me because that's what I believe life is from a nihilistic perspective. I am not there. Now, I think it can be surprising. I think it can be effective. I think your life can absolutely be chaotic. And I think there's absolutely a very powerful tool you can use with surprises and having chaos seem to come out of it. That's a lot of what good drama can do too, is bad guys do things and holy crap, it is chaotic. Holy crap, things are nuts now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's better stuff than that, which is, something good is actually going to come of this. There is actually an ancient story, an ancient progress to things, and it does lead to overcoming those kinds of things. But what do you want to say, philosophy major?
Well, I don't know that I necessarily disagree with you, because there is this sense of whether it's the story that we expect or whether it's the huge plot twist, we didn't expect that. I almost think that the satisfaction with viewers towards those things is more about either a sense of completion or not. Like, you can have it both ways, where it's the expected story, stuff happens, but there's no real completion to it, and it's kind of like, you just leave me there and ask me if I care whether or not anything ever happens again. Or you can, give me the story I expect, and it comes to a good completion, it pays itself off, and then I go, oh, okay, good, I like that.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be, okay, so trying to get back to, part of where this comment came from was this idea of, Luke, you were saying, sometimes we are happier when we see things coming in a story, and it made me think of things like old dramas, Greek like, there are stories where you're just watching this character and you're like, there's no way this can end good for you, because you're on the path to destruction. And I can see that so many ways away. And I can also see this other character is not there. So I can already tell that, like, this character is going to be destroyed by your own ambitions, and then you're going to be destroyed by yourself. And then and you're kind of watching it unfold. Now I'm thinking it in the terms of sort of old Greek tragedies or something, or old Shakespearean tragedies. But there are three different places an audience can be in comparison to a character. They can either be ahead of the character, which is what we're talking about, where you see things coming before the character even sees it coming, and you're like, it can bring a sort of foreboding doom or holy crap, we're headed there sort of nature for the audience. There's tension, which is basically you're in the same place as the character. So whatever the character knows, you know. And when they get surprised, you get surprised. At least that's how they hope it will go. And then there's the Sherlock Holmes or whatever thing where basically you're like so far behind the character, and half the fun is that suddenly the character just tells you everything you didn't know, right? Like your typical detective revelation mystery story. And it's interesting to me that right now, I mean, I don't want spoilers for stories. I want to go in and be surprised. I want to enjoy a story the way it was trying to be told the first time. Absolutely. I like things to be surprising or subversive at times. Absolutely, I enjoy that. But I just sense that there's such a seeming, at least Hollywood seems to believe everybody wants that. And I hear from a lot of journalists and reviewers that seems like they want, the new thing, something to surprise them, something to subvert their expectations. And yet, I don't think that really most people actually really deeply want that. Certainly not all the time. And I think that we would be happier if you just tell us the old story and even when we can see it's coming from miles away. I think we'd still be happier just to have that story and go through it. Again, Scott, if it goes through its paces and actually delivers a conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Luke, thoughts?
I don't know if I have anything specific at this moment, so I'm going to let that stand as is for the moment.
Okay. Well, on that note, we can...
Snake Eyes, Greek tragedies, same thing, same level.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Your
Hot
statement
take.
alone is
But if
subversive.
you leave a comment because you're angry, thank you for leaving a comment. We need we take any comments we can get.
Cold take, like warmed over, leftover take. Yeah, okay.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this discussion of Snake Eyes. If you do want to get out and see it, you probably won't see it in the theaters anymore. It was enjoyable. Just have really low expectations. I mean, really low expectations, and you'll enjoy it. Don't go see it if you need to see like a really good movie. But we appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you again next time.